Welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Randy, and today we're going to talk about what you are being made into in Christ. While walking through the forest one day, a farmer found a young eagle who had fallen out of his nest. He took it home and put it in his barn, where he had soon learned to behave and act like the other chickens. One day, a naturalist passed by the farm and asked why it was the king of all birds should be confined to live in a barnyard with the chickens. The farmer replied that since he had given the chickens feed and trained it to be a chicken, it had never learned to fly. Since it now behaved like chickens, it was no longer an eagle. Still, it has the heart of an eagle, replied the naturalist, and I can surely teach it to fly. He lifted the eagle toward the sky and said, "You belong to the sky and not to the earth. Stretch forth your wings and fly." The eagle, however, was confused. He did not know what he was seeing, but he looked down and saw the other chickens, so he jumped down and ate with them again. The naturalist took the bird to the roof of the house and urged him again, "You are an eagle, stretch forth your wings and fly." But the eagle was afraid of his unknown self and world and jumped down again to join the chickens. Finally, the naturalist took the eagle out of the barnyard, high to the mountains way above. And in the mountains, he lifted him straight towards the sun. And he told the eagle again, "You are an eagle created to fly." Slowly, the eagle began to tremble, stretched forth his wings, and with a triumphant cry, soared away into the heavens. This is what is going on in the church of Ephesus. The Ephesians Christians were presently Gentiles. They were not people of Israel, but came to believe in Christ. Paul just finished telling them of their new identity in verse 10. But many of them were still struggling with who they were. The struggle for them was twofold: historical division and social separation between the Jewish people, who were considered the circumcised, and the non-Jewish people called the uncircumcised. The Jews often viewed the Gentiles as outsiders and considered themselves superior to the Gentiles because of their covenant with God. This created a barrier between the two groups. The believers in Ephesus were eagles still living as chickens. So let's read what Paul encouraged of them in Ephesians 2:11-16. "Therefore remember that formerly you are Gentiles by birth and called uncircumcised by those who call themselves the circumcised, which is done in the body by human hands. Remember that at that time you were separated from Christ, excluded from citizenship in Israel, and foreigners to the covenant of promise, without God in the world. Now in Christ Jesus, you who were once far off have been brought near by Christ. For he himself is our peace, who has made the two groups one, and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility, by setting aside in his flesh the law and its commands and regulations. His purpose was to create in himself one new humanity, one of the two, thus making peace in his own body, to reconcile them both to God through the cross, by putting to death the hostility." Paul gives them a clear answer on how to move forward in faith with their new identity, how to put to rest who they were so it never hinders on who they are. In Christ Jesus, you've been brought near by the blood of Christ. What a beautiful picture, brought near. The word brought near means to be created, to be manufactured, to come into a new state of being. You and I, through the blood of Christ, have come into a new state of being. This is our new reality, our new normal. Who we were in the lives and the tribes and the status have dissolved away into believers in Christ and non-believers. Paul goes on to say, Jesus made Jews and Gentile believers one and has destroyed the wall of hostility that stood as a barrier for centuries. What walls of hostility are you standing behind today? I want to encourage you that Jesus tore those walls down. Paul was encouraging them to let go of who they were. He then goes on to say something that is life-changing. He says this: his purpose was to create in himself one new humanity. Jesus' purpose was to create in himself a new humanity. Who you were is only important for you to remember how he has saved you, so you can walk in humility in what Jesus has done for us. But even more importantly to that is to hold within the center of your being, you are one new humanity. So let us let go of who we were and the divisions of that life and become who he has called us to be in Christ.